There is a moment in every man's life, often unnoticed at the time, when a woman asks him a question that seems simple, innocent, almost trivial, and he answers it casually, maybe even brushes it off without a second thought. What he does not realize is that in that moment, she just handed him the key to her desire on a silver platter wrapped in the most ordinary words imaginable, and he missed it completely. This happens more often than most men would care to admit, especially when they are over the age of 50. By the time a man reaches his 50s or 60s, he has lived enough life to know that women communicate differently than they did in his younger years. But what he may not fully grasp is that women, particularly those drawn to mature men, have developed a refined and subtle language of desire that operates entirely beneath the surface of casual conversation. They do not flirt directly the way they might have in their 20s. They do not send obvious signals or make grand gestures. Instead, they test your awareness. They probe your emotional presence. They ask questions that sound like idle curiosity, but are actually carefully designed invitations. And here's the part most men never realize. A woman who wants intimacy with an older man will always ask you two specific questions. Always. It is like a code hidden in plain sight. A code that has been shaped by decades of social conditioning, emotional intelligence, and the quiet wisdom that comes with maturity. And once you understand this code, you will never miss another opportunity again. Men over 50 often believe they are invisible to younger women, or even to women their own age. They have absorbed the cultural narrative that says youth is everything, and that desirability fades with the years. But the truth is, the exact opposite. Mature men are more attractive than ever if they understand female behavior. The real villain is not women. It is misinterpretation. It is going through life thinking she is just being polite when in reality she was opening the door. Women rarely reveal attraction directly. They test your emotional presence, your calmness, your ability to notice things. That is what feminine psychology is built around. And the moment a woman starts seeing you as a man, she could trust emotionally, physically, intimately. She switches from casual conversation to intentional curiosity. She starts asking questions designed to expose three things: your masculinity. Are you a grounded man or an insecure one? Your availability emotionally and practically. Your perception. Are you sharp enough to recognize interest? This is where the two questions show up. But to understand why they matter, you need the psychological foundation behind them. Most men over 50 expect straightforward signs. They grew up in a world where people said what they meant. Women of today, even mature women, communicate differently. They do not say, "I am attracted to you. I want to get closer. I am thinking of you in a romantic way." Instead, they probe. They ask carefully selected questions to understand whether you are a man they can lean into without being rejected. Because here is the feminine fear, especially with older men. If I show my interest too strongly, he will think I am desperate. He will think I am easy. He will think I have no standards. So she hides her interest in curiosity. She places it inside questions that look innocent to the untrained eye, and if you miss them, she will not try again. Women rarely make the same emotional offer twice. Feminine psychology works in layers. Women use questions the way men use actions. When a man is interested, he offers something: a gesture, help, guidance, protection. When a woman is interested, she asks something, a question that reveals her desire for emotional closeness. There are dozens of random questions a woman might ask in daily life, but only two questions appear consistently when she is exploring intimacy with a mature man. These questions are not random. They are not coincidental. They are the result of a lifetime of learning how to test for safety before revealing vulnerability. Before diving into the questions themselves, it is essential to understand the deeper psychological framework that makes these questions so powerful. Women, particularly mature women, have developed a highly sophisticated system for evaluating potential partners. This system is not conscious. It operates beneath the surface of their awareness, guiding their questions, their tone, their timing. When a woman meets a man who interests her, her brain begins a rapid series of assessments. Is he safe? Is he stable? Is he emotionally available? Is he capable of intimacy? These assessments are not cold calculations. They are instinctive, rooted in millennia of evolutionary pressure that required women to be selective about their partners. The questions she asks are the primary vehicle for these assessments. She asks not because she is nosy, but because she wants to feel your emotional temperature. She wants to know, are you calm? Are you confident? Are you receptive to her energy? Do you live in your masculine or hide behind politeness? These questions are not formational. They are relational. They are designed to create emotional gravity between you and her. Think of them as small emotional bridges women place between themselves and a man they desire, just to see if he steps onto the bridge with presence. And when you do, it changes everything. Now, most men answer these questions literally. They hear the surface meaning and respond with surface answers. But a wise man, a grounded man, understands the meaning underneath the words. Because the moment she asks these questions, she is not gathering data. She is checking connection. She is checking your attention. She is checking your masculine awareness. When a woman is drawn to you, she does not need you to flex muscles or money or long stories. She needs to feel your awareness, the calm, masculine presence that younger men rarely have. This is why these two questions are so important. They are not random curiosity. They are invitations. The first question a woman asks when she desires intimacy with an older man is designed to identify one thing, your availability. Not your schedule, but your heart. She wants to know if your life has space for her. This is not a logistical question. This is a psychological one. It is her way of asking, are you emotionally open or emotionally sealed? Are you capable of connection or are you hiding inside your routines? Can I approach you without being pushed away? Women fear wasting emotional energy, so they test your openness before they show their interest. This first question is the feminine equivalent of a man leaning closer to a woman to see if she moves toward him or away from him, but most men miss it because they think she is just making small talk. The second question a woman always asks when she wants intimacy is about your direction. Not your goals, not your achievements, not your career, your inner direction. She wants to know if your life has movement, masculine energy, purpose, stability. Because women do not follow men who are idle. They follow men who are anchored. This question tells her, is this man emotionally alive? Does he know who he is? Is he grounded enough for a woman to feel safe with him? Does he have standards, or does he drift? The second question is not about facts, it is about your essence. When she asks it, she is visualizing what being with you would feel like. A woman can desire a man's body, but she only moves toward him when she desires his presence. And this question is her entrance point into your presence. Why are these questions so important for men over 50? By the time a man reaches his 50s or 60s, women assume something about him. He has already lived most of his emotional stories. So they fear stepping into his life unless they know they will not just be a background character. These two questions, subtle, innocent, almost invisible, are her way of checking if there is space for her and if the man she desires is living with intention or merely surviving. You can ignore compliments. You can miss body language. You can overlook eye contact, but if you miss these two questions, you miss the moment a woman is trying to open the door. And once a door closes, women rarely reopen it. The philosopher Seneca once observed that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. When a man misses these questions and imagines she was just being polite, he suffers a loss he does not even know he has suffered. He loses an opportunity that may never come again. Now let us get to the heart of the message. When a woman desires intimacy with an older man, not just friendship, not just conversation, but real emotional and physical closeness, she will always test the connection by asking two specific questions. These questions show up across countries, ages, and cultures because they tap directly into feminine psychology. The first question is this: do you spend a lot of time alone? At first glance, it looks innocent. It sounds like casual curiosity about your daily habits. But make no mistake, this is a signal flare. This is a woman's way of asking, is there room for me in your world? Is he emotionally open or emotionally closed? Does he have space for intimacy, or is he sealed off inside his routines? Women phrase this question in different ways. Do you usually go out alone? Do you keep to yourself a lot? You seem like a man who enjoys solitude. Is that true? Are you seeing anyone or just doing your own thing recently? This question is never about loneliness. It is about access. A woman asks this only when she is already imagining herself somewhere near your life. She is assessing whether you are receptive or emotionally unavailable. If she had no interest in you, she would not care how you spend your time. But when she is drawn to you, the way women are often drawn to mature men who radiate calm strength, she wants to know if she can enter your world without forcing her way in. Men answer this question too literally. Yes, I am alone a lot. No, not really. Depends on the week. A grounded man hears the meaning underneath it. She is checking your emotional openness. She is testing your availability. She is trying to understand whether intimacy with you is even possible. The philosopher Epictetus taught that no man is free who is not master of himself, and when a man answers this question with emotional mastery, he demonstrates that he is free. Free from the need to fill his life with distractions. Free from the fear of being alone. Free to choose connection when it feels right. That is what she is really looking for. She is not looking for a man who is desperate for companionship. She is looking for a man who is complete on his own, but open to sharing his life with the right woman. How should a man respond in a way that builds attraction? He should answer with balanced masculinity, calm, confident, receptive, but never needy. He might say, I enjoy my space, but I am never close to good company. Or, I like my routines, but I am always open to someone who brings something meaningful. This does two things. It tells her he is emotionally available without being desperate. It subtly signals that she might be the person he would let in. This is the exact tone women crave. Open but not empty, receptive but not longing, strong without being detached. When a man answers like this, she feels warmth, possibility, and safety all at once. And that leads her naturally to the second question, the one that reveals her true desire. The second question is this: what are you looking for these days? This is not a casual question. This is not small talk. This is not curiosity. This is a woman evaluating you as a romantic possibility. If she had no interest in you, she would never risk asking something so revealing. It is too vulnerable, too intimate, too loaded. Women reserve this question for men they see as potentially meaningful. And again, they phrase it in variations. What do you want in your life right now? What is your direction these days? What are you focusing on lately? What do you want at this stage of your life? What are you hoping to find these days? Women ask this to read your internal compass. Because for a woman to open herself emotionally or physically to a man, especially a mature man, she needs to feel that he knows who he is. He knows what he wants. He is not wandering. He is not lost in unresolved past relationships. He is not just passing time. He moves with intention. This question is her way of discovering, is this man's life heading somewhere I would want to walk toward? Does he have purpose, emotional, physical, relational? Is he the kind of man I could trust with my vulnerability? Men who answer this question too literally lose the moment. Oh, I am looking for peace. I am taking it day by day. I am not sure right now. These answers tell her, I am drifting. Women do not invest emotionally in drifting men regardless of age. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When a man's thoughts are colored by uncertainty, his soul reflects that. He becomes unattractive not because of his age, but because of his lack of direction. Women feel this instantly. They sense it in his voice, in his hesitation, in the vagueness of his answers, and they retreat. How should a man answer this question with masculine clarity? He does not have to give a speech. He does not have to reveal his entire life story. He just needs direction. He might say, I am building a simpler, stronger chapter in my life with the right people. Or, I am looking for connection that feels natural, not forced. Or I am focused on living with more intention, experiences, good company, meaningful moments. These answers do three things. They show he is not stagnant. He is moving. They show he has emotional clarity. He knows what he wants. They open a door where she can see herself fitting into his direction. This is powerful for a woman. It gives her the green light she was hoping for, a sign that he is not emotionally asleep. Because here is the truth. Most men over 50 do not realize women want a man who is alive. Not just alive physically, but alive inside. Alive with purpose, with passion, with emotional presence. The philosopher Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, taught that the goal of life is to live in agreement with nature. And it is human nature to seek connection with someone who is fully alive. A man who is alive inside is a man who attracts women without trying. He does not need to chase. He does not need to perform. His presence does the work for him. Why are these two questions linked to female desire? Let us go deeper behind the psychology. Women do not test men randomly. They test men based on emotional readiness. When a woman asks, do you spend a lot of time alone? She is probing your openness. When she asks, what are you looking for these days? She is probing your direction. And here's the logic. A man who is open and has direction creates emotional gravity. He becomes someone worth leaning into. Women do not need perfection. They need clarity. Clarity creates safety. Safety creates desire. This is why these two questions appear over and over again. Even if the woman does not consciously realize she is doing it, her subconscious is guiding her. It is testing for the two qualities that have been essential for female survival and connection for millennia: openness and direction. Without openness, there is no access. Without direction, there is no security. A man who lacks either is not a viable partner. A man who has both is irresistible. How does this play out in real life? Imagine a man is talking with a woman, maybe at a cafe, a bookstore, a friend's gathering, or even online. The conversation is flowing. There is a calmness between them. She laughs a little more than necessary. She touches her hair. She looks at him with softness. And then out of nowhere, she asks, "So, do you spend a lot of time alone?" This is her first emotional step toward him. This is her opening the door an inch. If he responds with presence, she feels encouraged. If he responds dismissively or with confusion, the energy collapses later, sometimes minutes later, sometimes days later. She asks, "What are you looking for at this stage of your life?" This is her second step. This is her deciding whether to go deeper. If he answers with clarity, she feels possibility. If he answers with uncertainty, she retreats. Men think these moments are coincidences. They are not. They are emotional checkpoints. And women rarely ask these two questions to a man they do not desire. It is essential to understand that these questions are not just about the answers. They are about the energy behind the answers. A woman is watching how he responds as much as what he says. She is listening to his tone, his pacing, his comfort level. She is feeling whether he is grounded or anxious, whether he is present or distracted, whether he is confident or uncertain. The philosopher Craves, who succeeded Zeno as the head of the Stoic school, wrote that the fates guide the willing but drag the unwilling. A man who is willing to engage with these questions to see them for what they are is guided toward deeper connection. A man who is unwilling, who brushes them off as small talk, is dragged into missed opportunities and regret. The difference is not in the questions, it is in the awareness of the man receiving them. Now, there is a deeper layer to these questions that most men never reach. When a woman asks these questions, she is not just testing for openness and direction. She is also testing for emotional intelligence. She wants to know if he can read between the lines, if he can understand what she is really asking, if he can meet her at the level of emotional depth she is offering. This is why the questions are so subtle. If he can recognize the subtlety, he proves that he is emotionally intelligent. If he cannot, he proves that he is not. And for a mature woman, emotional intelligence is often more attractive than physical appearance or financial success. She has learned that a man who can understand her without being told is a man she can trust. The philosopher Musonius Rufus, a Stoic teacher who profoundly influenced Epictetus, wrote that we should not use our words to command but to persuade and to teach. When a woman asks these questions, she is not commanding, she is persuading. She is teaching him about her desires through the language of inquiry, and a man who is wise enough to learn this lesson becomes a man she cannot resist. There is also a practical dimension to these questions that is often overlooked. A woman who is considering intimacy with an older man needs to know that he is not entangled in unresolved emotional baggage. She needs to know that he is not still pining for an ex, not still bitter about a divorce, not still carrying wounds that have not healed. The question about alone time gives her a window into his emotional state. A man who spends a lot of time alone and is comfortable with it is a man who has processed his past. A man who spends a lot of time alone and is bitter about it is a man who is not. The question about direction gives her a window into his future. A man who has direction is a man who is moving forward. A man who does not is a man who is stuck. The philosopher Hierlys wrote that we should approach others as we would approach ourselves with patience and understanding. When a woman asks these questions, she is approaching him with patience and understanding. She is giving him the opportunity to show her who he really is. And if he can answer with honesty and clarity, she will see him as a man worth investing in. What should a man remember above all else? A woman who desires intimacy will not announce it. She will not confess it openly. She will not throw herself at him. She will ask two questions. Are you emotionally open? Do you spend a lot of time alone? Are you emotionally alive? What are you looking for these days? These questions are not about facts. They are about connection. If a man recognizes them, he enters the moment with presence. If he misses them, the moment disappears. Women rarely repeat an emotional invitation. When they open the door, it is once. If a man takes only one thing from this, let it be this. A woman does not test your words. She tests your awareness. If you can recognize the questions she uses to signal desire, you will never again wonder whether a woman is interested in you. You will know. And knowing is the difference between a man who chases and a man who is chosen. The philosopher Seneca wrote that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. When a man wastes these moments by being unaware, he is wasting the opportunity for genuine connection. He is wasting the chance to build something real with a woman who is genuinely interested in him. Do not let that be you. There is one more layer to this that is worth exploring. The questions themselves are not just about the present moment, they are about the future. When a woman asks, "Do you spend a lot of time alone?" she is imagining what it would be like to spend time with him. She is wondering if he would welcome her into his solitude, or if he would resent the intrusion. She is testing whether his alone time is a choice or a default. When she asks, "What are you looking for these days?" she is imagining whether she could be part of that search. She is wondering if his direction aligns with her own desires. These questions are not just about him, they are about her. They are her way of asking, "Is there a place for me in your life? And if there is, what would that place look like?" This is why the answers matter so much. A man who can answer these questions with clarity and warmth is a man who is saying, "Yes, there is a place for you, come and see." A man who cannot is saying, "No, there is no place for you. Move on." The difference is subtle, but it is everything. It is also worth considering how these questions differ from the questions a woman might ask if she were not interested. A woman who is not interested will ask surface-level questions about work, weather, or mutual acquaintances. She will not probe his emotional state. She will not ask about his alone time. She will not ask about his direction. She will keep the conversation light and safe. The fact that she is asking these two questions at all is a sign of interest. It is a sign that she is thinking about him in a way that goes beyond casual acquaintance. And if a man misses that sign, he misses the opportunity to take the relationship to a deeper level. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote that we have power over our minds, not outside events. A man has power over his own awareness. He has power over his own presence, and that presence is what will draw a woman to him. It is not about what he says, it is about how he shows up. It is about whether he is awake to the signals she is sending. The real tragedy is that so many men go through life completely unaware of these signals. They have conversations with women who are interested in them, and they walk away thinking it was just another friendly chat. They miss the opportunities that are right in front of them, and then they wonder why they are still alone. The answer is not that women are not interested. The answer is that they are not paying attention. The philosopher Epictetus taught that no great thing is created suddenly, and the awareness of these signals is no exception. It is built through the accumulation of small moments of attention, each one building on the last. Each time a man notices a question and recognizes its deeper meaning, he builds that awareness. Each time he responds with presence and clarity, he builds that awareness. And as he builds it, it becomes part of who he is. It becomes part of his presence. And that presence is what will draw women to him. If this video helped you in one way or another, please consider supporting the channel using the Super Thanks feature. Your support means a lot, and it helps us keep creating better content, especially for you. Every contribution goes directly into improving the quality of these videos and bringing you more of the Stoic wisdom and psychological insights that you have come to expect. Thank you for being part of this journey. Stay grounded, stay present, and I will see you right here in the next one.